What happens when pirates mistake a U.S. Navy warship for a cargo freighter and open fire? Off Somalia's lawless coast, their armed crews backed by crime syndicates tracking ships with satellite apps. What happens when pirates mistake a U.S. Navy warship for a cargo freighter and open fire? How do Navy SEALs respond when an American captain is taken at sea? Let's break down what really happens when Somali pirates attack the U.S. Navy. Why Somali piracy exists. Since Somalia's collapse in 1991, its waters have remained lawless. No navy, no coast guard, just open seas, prime ground for criminal opportunity. These same waters happen to be among the busiest maritime corridors on Earth, trafficked daily by oil tankers, cargo ships, and humanitarian vessels. But in the early 2000s, something shifted. Somali fishermen, driven to desperation after illegal foreign trawlers wiped out their livelihoods, began hijacking vessels. Between 2008 and 2011, Somali piracy surged. Over 1,100 attacks were recorded. Entire cargo ships were taken, with crews held hostage for ransoms reaching over $10 million. Piracy quickly evolved into organized crime, funded by investors, run by negotiators, and protected by legal advisors. As one former fisherman told the United Nations in a 2023 report, "They used to offer us fish, now they offer us guns." And the open sea became more dangerous than ever. Which brings us to the question, what happens when these pirates go after the wrong ship? Who are these modern pirates? Most Somali pirates are young men in their late teens or early 20s. Many once made a living from the sea, relying on fishing to support their families. But for over 2 decades, unlicensed and illegal foreign trawlers have stripped Somali's coastal waters bare. According to a 2024 report from the Food and Agriculture Organization, the country has lost as much as 70% of its coastal fish stocks since the early 2000s. When the fish disappeared, so did their futures. Some were recruited, others volunteered. In a matter of months, boys who once hauled in nets were now boarding small skiffs, armed with assault rifles and grenade launchers. They don't fit the pirate stereotype. No flags, no eye patches, just satellite phones, GPS trackers, and radios tuned to international shipping channels. They move in small groups, usually 4 to 6 men per boat. These skiffs are often launched from larger vessels known as motherships, allowing them to operate deep into international waters. One former pirate, 23-year-old Abdurrahman, told the Global Initiative Against Transnational Organized Crime in a 2023 interview, "They gave us weapons and told us what to say if we caught a ship. I knew it was dangerous, but my brother was already doing it. We had nothing." What started has grown into a transnational criminal enterprise. These aren't lone gunmen. They're backed by organized networks with financiers, negotiators, and even accountants. So, what happens when they target the wrong vessel, like a U.S. Navy destroyer? What does a modern pirate attack actually look like? We'll get to that. Real clash. USS Cape St. George and USS Gonzalez, 2006. On March 18, 2006, in the Gulf of Aden, a group of pirates spotted what they thought was an easy prize. Large, slow, and full of potential loot. From a distance, it looked like a high-value merchant vessel. But it wasn't. They were approaching 2 United States Navy warships, the USS Cape St. George, a guided missile cruiser, and the USS Gonzalez, a destroyer. Both were part of Combined Task Force 150, a multinational mission focused on maritime security in dangerous waters. Whether the pirates didn't recognize the vessels or didn't care, they pressed forward. As the Navy tracked their movement on radar, a boarding team from the USS Gonzalez moved to intercept. What they encountered wasn't a fishing crew, it was a group of armed men, ready to engage. And then, everything escalated. The pirates opened fire using small arms and rocket-propelled grenades, directly targeting the warships. The USS Gonzalez and the USS Cape St. George responded immediately, returning fire with precision. In the exchange, one pirate vessel was destroyed and sank. 2 smaller skiffs were seized. 12 pirates were captured alive. 1 has passed away. No U.S. personnel were injured. A declassified post-mission report from United States Naval Forces Central Command, released in 2022, highlighted the discipline and restraint shown by the Navy during the engagement, especially under fire. But not every encounter ends this decisively. Sometimes it becomes a global hostage crisis, broadcast, analyzed, and remembered. But when pirates shift their sights from military targets to civilian crews, the stakes change, and the world watches every move. Before we continue, I have a special 10-second request for all of you listening. If you can help me in any way, just press the notification bell and hit that subscribe button. It means the world. It really supports this channel. And if you do that for me, I promise my team and I will do everything we can to make this show even better for you. Deal? The Maersk, Alabama hijacking, 2009. Just 3 years after the shootout involving the USS Cape St. George, another confrontation captured the world's attention. This time, it wasn't a warship under attack. It was a civilian cargo vessel flying the American flag. On April 8, 2009, 4 Somali pirates hijacked the Maersk, Alabama, a United States-flagged container ship transporting humanitarian aid through the Gulf of Aden. They weren't carrying advanced weapons, just rifles and aggression. Yet somehow they seized control of the vessel. The crew fought back and forced the attackers off the ship. But the pirates didn't retreat empty-handed. They escaped in a lifeboat, taking Captain Richard Phillips as their hostage. For 5 days, Phillips sat in that lifeboat, tied up and surrounded by armed men, adrift in the Indian Ocean. The U.S. Navy moved fast. The guided missile destroyer USS Bainbridge was deployed to the scene, along with additional Navy ships and a team of Navy SEALs from the elite SEAL Team 6. The pirates demanded ransom. The U.S. refused to negotiate. Then, on April 12th, the standoff ended with a single decisive move. 3 Navy SEAL snipers positioned on the deck of the Bainbridge fired in perfect coordination. 3 simultaneous shots. 3 confirmed kills. Captain Phillips was rescued without injury. Later, Phillips told PBS Frontline that he never thought he'd be part of a SEAL mission, but when those shots rang out, he knew he was going home. According to a 2024 report from the U.S. Navy Special Warfare Command, that operation remains part of SEAL sniper training, taught as a textbook case of precision under pressure. This wasn't just a rescue, it was a message. A warning to anyone thinking of testing American resolve. The U.S. Navy's Anti-Piracy Arsenal. Over the past 20 years, the United States Navy has shifted from reacting to pirate attacks to preventing them entirely. Today, Navy vessels are no longer soft targets. They're fortified, equipped, and fully capable of detecting, deterring, and, if necessary, engaging any threat at sea. Modern warships scan hundreds of miles using advanced radar, sonar, and aerial surveillance. High-altitude drones like the MQ-9 Reaper stream live video of suspect vessels, while smaller unmanned systems like the Scan Eagle can stay airborne for over 24 hours, quietly tracking pirate movements without being seen. According to a 2025 intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance briefing by the U.S. Navy, these unmanned systems now operate autonomously, providing real-time intel with minimal risk to personnel. Navy ships deploy non-lethal countermeasures like LRADs, long-range acoustic devices, that emit piercing sound waves strong enough to stop fast-approaching boats. If warnings don't work, crews escalate, firing warning shots, using high-pressure water cannons, or securing vulnerable areas with barbed wire and armored safe rooms. These measures are also shared with commercial vessels operating in high-risk zones. As emphasized in the joint 2024 Maritime Safety Guide by the International Maritime Bureau and U.S. Navy, constant vigilance and contingency planning are critical. But if prevention fails, the response is immediate. Within minutes, specialized boarding teams are activated. Navy SEALs handle high-risk hostage rescues. Fleet anti-terrorism security teams, or FAST teams, protect ships and conduct precision boarding. VBSS units visit board search and seizure, inspect suspect vessels for weapons, drugs, or pirate activity. And this isn't theory. According to a 2025 Pentagon report, these rapid response forces have intercepted or disrupted more than 70 piracy attempts in just the last 5 years, most without firing a single shot. Air support plays a critical role too. The Department of Defense's latest anti-piracy assessment confirms that Navy air assets now guarantee full aerial dominance during these operations. This multi-layered strategy is what defines modern naval power. It's not just firepower, it's awareness, discipline, and rapid execution. Because the Navy doesn't just respond to pirates, it deters them before they ever strike. So what part of this modern arsenal impressed you most? Would you feel safe on board a Navy vessel in pirate-infested waters? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear from you. Secret tools and high-tech warfare. The Navy's defenses are layered, but the real edge comes from what you don't see. Stealth systems, silent surveillance, and high-tech warfare that leaves pirates completely outmatched. Modern piracy isn't just about speedboats and rifles. It's a war of data, signals, and precision, and the U.S. Navy is built to dominate that space. Take the ScanEagle drone. It weighs only 40 pounds, but it can fly over 60 miles from its launch point and stay in the air for 24 hours. It streams real-time surveillance directly to the Navy command, silently tracking pirate routes without being noticed. The Navy's ISR report confirms these drones now come equipped with infrared sensors and high-res cameras to monitor targets day and night. Then there's the LRAD, long-range acoustic device. It fires focused sound waves powerful enough to disorient and disable attackers. It's non-lethal but highly effective. In several Red Sea incidents in 2023, LRADs were used to repel pirates without firing a shot, according to the Maritime Security Council's 2024 summary. When force becomes necessary, the Navy doesn't gamble. Snipers aboard helicopters are trained to hit targets on moving boats from over 500 yards away, even while airborne. Beneath the waves, sonar arrays detect threats like divers or underwater drones. First deployed in 2022, these systems are now standard on forward-deployed ships in high-risk waters. And on the airwaves? The Navy can jam pirate communications, block GPS, and scramble radio signals in seconds. According to the Naval Cyber Warfare Review, these electronic tactics disrupted over 40 pirate raids in the past year alone. This is how the modern Navy wins, through control, precision, and silence. By the time pirates get close, they've already lost. Global alliance, fighting pirates together. But here's the reality: no single nation can police the oceans alone. Piracy, especially off the Somali coast, doesn't follow borders. These attacks unfold in international waters, far from any one country's jurisdiction. Which is why defeating piracy takes more than firepower. It takes global coordination. At the core of that coordination is the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS. With more than 160 signatory nations, it provides the legal foundation for fighting piracy. Under UNCLOS, any nation can interdict pirate activity in international waters, regardless of the pirate's nationality or the ship's flag. Supporting this legal framework is the International Maritime Bureau, headquartered in Malaysia. Their 24/7 Piracy Reporting Center alerts naval forces and commercial ships in real time. In 2024 alone, the Bureau coordinated over 300 alerts that prevented attempted boardings. But coordination goes beyond data. It takes presence. That's where Combined Task Force 150 comes in, a multinational naval coalition. It patrols over 2 million square miles of ocean in the Gulf of Aden, Red Sea, and Indian Ocean. Its command rotates between nations like the United States, France, Pakistan, the United Kingdom, and Australia. Their mission? Intercept threats, gather intelligence, and maintain maritime security in piracy hotspots. In one 2023 operation, a German warship intercepted a pirate mothership off Somalia. Intelligence came from a Japanese surveillance aircraft. A U.S. drone tracked the vessel, and a French boarding team secured it without a single shot fired. What happens to captured pirates? When the mission ends and the weapons are down, what happens next? What becomes of the pirates who survive? You've seen the U.S. Navy's precision at sea, but once the skiffs are stopped and the attackers are captured, the story shifts from combat to courtroom. And that's where things get complicated. Captured pirates are usually held briefly aboard Navy ships, then transferred to allied nations for prosecution. Many face trial under international maritime law in countries like Kenya, Mauritius, or the Seychelles, all of which have legal agreements to prosecute piracy cases on behalf of the global community. Some are extradited directly to the United States. According to the U.S. Department of Justice, more than 40 Somali pirates have been tried and convicted in federal courts since 2010. Most received sentences of 20 years or longer in maximum security prisons. One of the most notable cases was Abduali Muse, the only surviving pirate from the Maersk, Alabama hijacking. He's currently serving a 33-year sentence in a federal prison in Indiana, but not every case ends in justice. Some pirates are released due to lack of evidence. Others walk free because no country steps forward to prosecute. And according to the United Nations Maritime Justice Review, some are quietly returned to Somalia with no charges at all, often due to legal gaps or diplomatic limits. It's a side of piracy few ever see, the legal system struggling to handle crimes that start in international waters but land in no nation's court. Could pirates actually sink a U.S. Navy ship? We've seen what happens when Somali pirates cross paths with U.S. Navy ships. But there's one question we're willing to ask: could they ever win? The odds are nowhere near equal. A pirate crew armed with rifles and rocket-propelled grenades is no match for a U.S. Navy destroyer. These warships are protected by layered defense systems that respond faster than any human could react. At the center of that defense is the close-in weapon system known as SIS. This radar-guided autonomous cannon fires up to 4,500 rounds per minute, neutralizing incoming threats from the sky or sea before they get close. It's a robotic defense platform, locked, loaded, and constantly scanning for danger. Add to that unmanned aerial surveillance. Drones like the MQ-9 Reaper monitor vast stretches of ocean, while shipborne radar systems detect threats miles away. Long before pirates can even see the ship clearly, the ship sees them, and it's already preparing to engage. According to a leaked NATO defense review, there's growing concern over state-sponsored proxy operations, where pirate groups receive outside support. We're talking about spoofed ship transponders, falsified GPS data, hacked surveillance feeds, and manipulated distress calls that lure vessels into ambush zones. This is hybrid warfare, where pirates serve as a cover for a much deeper strategy. Now, the threat isn't just firepower, it's tactical support, advanced cyber tools, and possibly access to weapons they didn't build or understand. The environmental cost of piracy. Beyond the threat to cargo ships and naval vessels, piracy takes a silent toll on something far more fragile: the environment. When pirate crews anchor near coral-rich coastlines, often inside protected marine zones, they rarely follow any maritime regulations. Anchors dropped carelessly destroy coral reefs that took centuries to form. According to the United Nations Environment Programme's 2024 Oceans Report, Illegal anchoring by pirate vessels and unregulated operators has damaged more than 5,000 acres of reef along Somalia's coast alone. Many pirate motherships are repurposed fishing trawlers, old, rusting, and poorly maintained. Some leak oil. Others dump engine fluids, plastic waste, and chemicals directly into the water, either to lighten their load or to cover their tracks. These toxins poison fish stocks and disrupt migration routes for endangered species, including green turtles and manta rays. And where illegal fishing overlaps with piracy, which it often does, the damage is amplified. Fish populations collapse, local communities lose critical food sources, entire marine ecosystems begin to unravel. The U.S. Navy recognizes this threat. According to its environmental security brief, Navy patrols help deter not only armed attacks, but also illegal dumping and anchoring inside environmentally sensitive zones. In one recent operation, the USS Howard joined regional forces near the Mbifana Marine Sanctuary, working to protect both human lives and ocean ecosystems. Because when piracy reaches into protected waters, the damage isn't measured in dollars or headlines. Coral doesn't grow back in days, fisheries don't rebound overnight. Has Somali piracy declined? So, is Somali piracy finally over? Since 2015, the answer has been mostly yes. According to the International Maritime Bureau's report, pirate attacks off Somalia have dropped by more than 90% since their peak in 2011. That year saw over 200 hijacking attempts. In the past year, there were fewer than 10 reported incidents in the region. So what changed? First, naval pressure increased. The U.S. Navy, alongside partners in Combined Task Force 150, began near-constant patrols in key shipping lanes, especially the Gulf of Aden. Second, commercial ships changed tactics. Armed security teams, many with former military experience, became standard, turning unarmed targets into protected zones. Third, the technology evolved. Satellite monitoring, real-time ship tracking, automated distress systems, and drone surveillance now give early warnings before pirates get anywhere near. But here's what most people overlook. Somali piracy didn't end. It shifted. Today, the hotspot is the Gulf of Guinea, off West Africa. In 2024 alone, the IMB recorded 93 piracy incidents there, including 23 crew kidnappings. Most involved oil tankers and cargo ships. This isn't a Somali problem, it's a global pattern. The locations may change, but the causes, poverty, lawlessness, remain. So while the Horn of Africa grows quieter, the mission isn't over. Standing in that space between peace and chaos is the United States Navy. They don't just command warships, they guard international trade, secure maritime routes, and save lives. From high-risk hostage rescues to silent drone surveillance, from boarding missions to full-scale operations, Navy sailors, pilots, analysts, and SEALs carry the weight of global security, mission after mission. So as we close this chapter on Somali piracy and modern naval warfare, remember what keeps those waters safe. Training, precision, discipline, and the courage to stand watch so the rest of the world can move forward undisturbed. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Your support means a lot to us. Click on the video that appears on your screen right now. I'm sure you'll love this content. Comment below about the next topic you'd like to see featured on our channel. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for being with us. Leave a comment, like to show your support, and remember to hit that subscribe button for more exciting videos. See you next time.